Welcome to Staring into the Abyss. I'm your host, Richard Gerlach. With me, as always, is Michael Patrick Hicks.
Hello.
Vint LeMay, Mist.
Hi.
And our special guest, Ed Lorne.
Hello.
And Darren, how do you pronounce your last name? I probably should have asked before I started recording.
Capoff.
Capoff?
Capoff, yeah.
Like he's going to bust a cap off.
And Darren Capoff, the authors of The Wicked Wrecks of the West.
Technically.
Welcome to our podcast.
Ward Nerdlow.
Oh, Ward Nerdlow. Technically. Technically Ward Nerdlow.
But one of my many stupid pen names.
A lot. You have a lot.
Ward Nerdlow is one of the few we know of.
It's hard keeping track of all the pen names. Like, okay, for this story, I'm going to use this name. And for this story, I'm going to use this name.
Well, pretty much. I mean, it depends on what genre I'm doing. It depends on what tone I'm looking for. Ward isn't very serious. Lorne, everybody dies. Drew Rowland, who's got a book coming out. I'm talking about these people like they're real. Anyways, Drew Rowland has a book coming out in 2022, and then I've killed off 5 of my other 8 pen names. The Christian fiction one is gone. The erotica one is gone. Anyways, I keep going. Someone's going to figure me out.
Well, still, welcome, and welcome as well, Darren.
Thank you. I am just heartened to know you're as merciless with your pen names as you are with your characters.
Yes, exactly.
Just everyone kill them all.
Yes. As soon as they stop selling, they get thrown in the jail until people start asking about their books again, and then I might return. Sometimes I literally kill them, like a whole Richard Bachman kind of George Stark thing.
And then you later find a trunk novel and be like, oh, here's an earlier novel from this name.
Exactly. That's what I did with my erotica one, because I had numerous people like, I wish there was one more. And then her wife, her husband, not wife, but because I used a female name for the erotica stuff, and her husband found one of her stories on her hard drive, so that was put out, but it was brand new.
This was definitely not written in 2020.
Definitely.
Exactly.
All right. Well, today we're going to be talking about Wicked Wrecks of the West. This was a lot of fun to read.
Oh,
Yes.
This was a fucking blast.
I am excited for it to get out in the world.
Oh, we are too. 100%. This book, it never would have happened if it weren't for Twitter, and I'm looking forward to everybody who was part of that discussion. Everybody who was who has hyped the book up. I'm looking forward to them to read it. Hopefully, we didn't disappoint anybody. I'm glad you guys loved it.
I was going to say, just reading the introduction, it sold it.
Yeah, Lauren's great. I think everybody that was included, there was Lauren, Darren,
Laurel.
let's see here. Oh, Laurel. Sorry, I don't know why I said Lauren. Laurel, Darren, myself, Mike, and it was a post complaining about mashups, how much we didn't like it. And then I don't know who said it. I wish I could find the thread, but somebody mentioned like, why don't they do something cool or something like that? Like, not talking about us, but just in general. Why don't they do like the Wizard of Oz and Jurassic Park? And I believe that's how it happened. I could be having a Mandela effect, but then Darren jumped down there, said that was a great idea. I said it was a great idea. We didn't even know each other. Had never read each other's work. And all of a sudden, we're off to the races with Dot and a bunch of tweakers. So,
Oh, so much fun.
Yeah, I do believe it was Laurel. She's after we talked about it for a bit. We were just coming up with lots of really stupid ideas, right? Just throwing them out, and then
And we
after
still
a while,
are.
we're like, these aren't so stupid in that we could do something with it. And then Laurel's like, so which one of you is going to write it? And we were like, you want to do it together? And that was it.
Nice.
Yeah, me sitting over here. I'm gonna be completely. You guys know me. I'm gonna be completely honest here. Here I am, like this stranger. I could be trying to partner up with some person who publishes like unedited garbage, and here I am, just like, let's go for it. Fuck it. If I have to rewrite the thing from the ground up, it's whatever. Let's do this because it's a great idea.
For those not in the know, Laurel refers to author Laurel Hightower, who provides an introduction to Wicked Rex of the West.
And does a fantastic job also. I love that introduction.
Yes, it's really, really good.
Before we dive deeper into Wicked Rex of the West, we also like to give a weekly rundown of some media that we've consumed this last week. I don't actually have too much this week, surprisingly.
Oh, blessed.
But I did start watching Wheel of Time because I had to. And the first 3 episodes are fucking great.
Oh, good. I've
like
heard
Robert Jordan's ghost was holding a gun to your head. You had to? What?
I had to. I needed to. Robert Jordan's widow is like in the corner of my room staring at me with a double-barrel shotgun.
Oh, that's not a bit creepy.
She's still wearing the black veil and holding you at gunpoint.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Richard Gerlach, you will watch this.
You need to watch this. Or else you'll die. But no, like
the lawyers of the Jordan estate can contact Richard Gerlach directly.
no, I've read the first like 4 Wheel of Time books and I really enjoyed them, so I've been looking forward to like a new big fantasy show since we haven't had one of those in a while.
When I heard the Dark Tower got canceled, man, I wanted to do violence.
Oh,
I
I'm
was so
still
mad about
grieving.
Me too.
Fucking Amazon.
Do you know how bad that pilot had to have been for Amazon to be like, no, it's okay. we threw millions at this, but it's all right. Just go on about your business, please.
Yeah.
Sucks.
If you want to see a really
Rooker. How do you cancel something with Michael Rooker?
Yeah, right? Yeah.
It must have been really bad. I mean, if you want to see a really bad pilot, you can find it online. But about 6 years ago, there was a Wheel of Time pilot that played on the FX channel at 1 o'clock in the morning.
I heard this
and it
story.
stars Billy Zane.
Oh my.
And it is fucking terrible. They only made it so they could keep holding their rights to the Wheel of Time to try to like develop something else. And it resulted in Jordan's widow suing them to get the rights back.
Yeah, that's the only reason that absolute abomination of Pet Cemetery, the reboot, that's the only reason that exists. Same with Fan Four Stick or Fantastic Four. That's the only reason why they did that one. And
all the Hellraiser sequels as well.
And I didn't actually, every single, I'm a controversial opinion here. I like every single Hellraiser with Bradley. They're not all great, but I like Deader, Hellworld. I liked all of those, but as soon as Bradley left, I haven't liked any, like, what is it, Resurrection or Revelation or whatever the hell it was, and then that noir one that they did that was absolute garbage. But I actually enjoyed the Bradley ones.
Bradley had a good screen presence. Even the worst ones, you still had his screen presence.
Right, exactly. And the storylines weren't terrible. I mean, they weren't great or good, but they weren't terrible.
Yeah. Well, one thing I will say about Wheel of Time, at least the TV series, is they've changed a few things from the books. If you haven't read the books, you can watch the show easy, no problem. They just kind of throw you in there, and you have to kind of figure it out as you watch, but they give you answers the more it goes. And it starts off at a really quick running pace, and it keeps it up through all first 3 episodes.
Gotcha.
I think it's really solid TV, so I'd recommend it.
I plan on watching it with my son. He wants to read the series, but I mean that's 14 books over 700 pages long, so he's gonna be there for a hot minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna take a little while.
Well, the first season is supposed to be book 1, and it's gonna be 8 episodes in total.
Okay. I saw that. I saw that. I've read the first book, so I won't have any problem with that one. And I hope to join you for your reread for book 2. Ain't no way in hell that I'm reading that first book again, but I want to get through the second one. The first one was
I'm
fine.
starting to
I think I
reread
gave it
in
3 stars.
January, but I'm
Gotcha.
going to do them all from the first one. So
Okay, I'll be there for
wish
book
me
2.
luck on this marathon.
Yeah, that's a commitment.
It is, but I really want to get this one done and out of the way. So, but Mike, what about you?
I read a book called Wicked Rex of the West, and that's been about it. I'm still fucking burned out on everything, so I didn't do a whole lot. I did fuck all this week except read the book we're talking about today, and that was about it.
Well, we
Marathon some Iron Chef and watch Shang-Chi, and that's it. That's literally been my week.
Well, Shang-Chi was fucking great, though.
It was. I dug the hell out of it. And Disney
And
Plus
Vitlame.
put it in IMAX, so that was pretty cool.
Ooh, that must have been really sweet. Vitlame, what about you?
Well, didn't get much reading done since it was kind of a busy work week. I did receive 2 books that I am excited to start reading. One is Hunger for Death by Joshua Marcella, his short story collection. I got an arc from him. And then I also got Brandon Applegate's brand new debut short story collection, Those We Left Behind and Other Sacrifices. He actually sent me a hardcover copy, and I was really excited about that.
Oh, that was nice.
Yeah, it was really, really nice. And it looks really good, especially the cover art and the stories. They look really interesting. And I'm going to probably read both of those collections this week. Try to finish it by November 30th, I think. I think that's when Joshua is releasing his debut collection.
Yeah, Joshua's collection comes out the 30th.
Yeah. And then I finished season 2 of Tiger King.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I watched that too.
It was so funny. My husband and I, we usually watch something while we're eating dinner, and we didn't know what to watch. And he was like, should I just put on Tiger King? And I'm like, yeah, but I wasn't really expecting anything. I mean, because, what could they possibly cover in season 2? And we ended up binging.
Can I ask you one thing about it?
Yeah.
I don't want any other spoilers except for this one thing. Did they cover all the Trump nonsense of him trying to get out of jail?
Yes.
Yes.
They do?
They do, and it's hilarious.
Okay, I mean, if it's funny, then I might still watch it. I'm just
it's just so ridiculous, and you're just you're just watching it, and you're like, okay, yeah, and then you go over your memories, and you're like, oh yeah, that actually did happen.
yeah.
That wasn't just a mass delusion.
No, they even covered it in the Icelandic news.
Wow.
Wow.
That's crazy.
I know, that's saying something. Because this was the Tiger King season 1 was the most watched episode season on Icelandic Netflix, so of course they had to cover it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like going to a carnival, like a sideshow, man. It's like, look at these silly Americans.
It's such a fucking circus, guys.
You can't look away.
It is. What I remember the most about that whole situation was they had like a stretch Hummer sitting outside the jail waiting for like a 11th hour pardon. Pardon from Trump. And that just seeing it's just, he was so certain. Everybody was so certain that Trump was going to pardon him, and Trump was like, nah, motherfucker, you just gonna have to sit there.
I never watched your show.
The thing that bummed me out the most, watching the first season was, the tigers were, they are the real victims there. Or just all the cats. I just felt so sorry for the poor things. But but good news, they had a happy ending in season 2.
Oh, really?
Yay! Yes.
What I remember the most, the absolute badass that the woman who lost her arm to the tiger, and she was just like, it's whatever. I love the tigers. And I'm like, you're my fucking hero. Something snatches my arm off. I'm just like, nah. I'm gonna have to, I'm gonna have to do something about that.
Yeah, she was interviewed again for season 2, and yeah, she said that some things that happened in season 1 were like, nah, it's not the correct thing and stuff. But you'll have to watch it. I'm not gonna spoil anything. I think
I'll watch it.
One thing that I was kind of not happy about regarding season 2 was that they did not cover that fucking cult.
Oh,
yeah, they dropped that in season 1.
Like, nope, I need more info on those. I need to know if the women are okay.
Yeah, Tiger King is a lot to take in. It's like a slow train crash.
It really is.
You want to look away, but you can't.
Nope, you can't.
And everybody involved in that show, like on that show, is a terrible person. Except like the person who lost their hand.
Mm-hmm.
They're not. But everyone else pretty much is.
It's like reading one of my books. It's like everybody's just fucking terrible. You just want them all to just die horrible deaths. But it
feels like most of the cast could have been south of here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep, that's the thing. I definitely recommend just to see, like, oh, look at that. Remember Tiger King? We got some more info on that. I mean, he's still in jail, so it's like, well, there's nothing new about that.
Yeah,
I was wondering how they were going to do it.
I think he's going to be in jail for the next 20 years or so.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he'll die in prison.
Yeah.
I mean, he got COVID in prison.
Of course he did.
But
now
yeah,
I did think of a new Ed Lorne mashup with the Tiger King.
Oh, don't give us any more.
Oh,
don't give us any.
Yeah, no, we got
Yeah, we're good. We're good, fellas.
That,
Ladies and gentlemen, we're good. We have so many books planned. It isn't even funny. And then Mike brought up we're gonna do it right after we get done with Halloween, our Hellraiser Mean Girls mashup. That's the next one we're working on after.
God.
The next.
Are you kidding me?
No, not kidding at all. That's what we're gonna be writing next. Because we finished We Are Legend, which is Gremlins and I Am Legend mashup. We finished that one. No, that's what I'm currently editing that now, and then I'll go to Darren, then it'll go to betas, then it'll go to editing, proofreading, and all that stuff. But we're doing Halloween, like I said, Hellraiser, Mean Girls, and then we're going to be doing, because Mike, the Great and Secret American Cookout.
Oh my god.
So yeah, and then we have a little publishing trio we're calling Hold My Beer Publishing. And we already published Maiden. Me and TC Parker wrote that one. Then we have Maidens, which we'll start writing. Basically it's aliens, alien and aliens. So we got Maiden and Maidens. We're going to be writing that one starting in January when me and Darren start Halloween. And then I'm also going to be writing How to Burn a Witch, which is more of a serious. The stuff I'm doing with TC Parker is more serious than our mashups, even though we take our mashups very seriously. We want good characters, good plot, good story, all that stuff. We're not just doing this for the lulz. These aren't meme books. But How to Burn a Witch is going to be the next one. And then, of course, I got all my solo stuff. I'm going to be busy as hell. Yeah.
Wow. I can't wait for all of those.
Well, it keeps you out of trouble.
Yeah, maybe. I still manage to get into it. It doesn't matter how much free time or no free time I have. It doesn't matter.
That's true.
But,
Trouble finds thee.
Yeah, I wrote. Yeah, exactly. Trouble finds me. But I wrote Maiden and We Are Legend at the same time while writing Backyard, which is the first Ward Nerdlow solo novel. So you can expect all that shit next year.
Gee, I really look up to you.
Oh, okay. Let me say something before I go any farther, because every time I do this, I kind of sound like humble bragging. First off, this is all I do. I don't have a quote unquote job. Yes, writing is work, but all I do is read, write, and make YouTube content. Those are the only three things I do, and I'm privileged enough to live off that. So never hold yourself to the same expectations as I do myself, because it's literally all I do, other than like spending time with the family after I get done working every day. So never judge your own output based on someone else's. While I appreciate that I look up to you, I appreciate it. But never, judge your own, value by the metric of someone else's output.
Oh yeah, I've had to take a deep look into that after my burnout. So yeah.
Yeah, that's excellent advice. I know we see a lot online about the hustle and always hustling and never giving yourself a moment's rest is kind of some bullshit advice.
Yeah, this is absolutely true. But another thing is I'm not schizophrenic. I'm bipolar. So I do writing the most of all the things that I do because it helps me get out of my own head. It's my escape. Where you see some people say, I can't write because I'm spiraling or I'm manic right now. Whether or not I'm manic or depressed, either way, I'm writing through it. So that it's literally just to keep me sane. And I might have a bit of schizophrenia because all the voices in my head, but then they go on the page and they leave me the fuck alone. So that's what I do. That's what I do to make sure, I keep myself sane and I keep myself busy so that, the demons don't pop up.
I feel like we talk about this almost every week while we're writing. He'll send me a chapter and I'll read it and then I'll start on mine. It usually takes me about a week to turn a chapter around because I do have a day job. And then I send it to him thinking, okay, now I can work on my solo book. 4 hours later, I get 2 chapters back. I was like, okay.
I was wondering how you even were able to keep up with a machine like E.
We
Are Legend went
TC
much
at
better.
the same time.
Yeah.
Right. We Are Legend went much better. First off, right after me and Darren started this, I can't remember if I don't want to get dark here, but I lost my mother, I think before we started or shortly after.
Like right around the time, yeah.
Right, exactly. And then Darren lost his best friend, Kevin. So we kind of bonded over that while we were writing the books also. The book, Wicked Rex of the West is the one I'm talking about. So both of us were in pretty bad spots mentally at that time, and we just kind of propped each other up and just kept pushing forward because it took us like 9 months to write a 45,000 word novella or a novel. I don't know what you want to call it. I feel like it's a novel. If Of Mice and Men is a novel, Rex is a novel. And then the next one, what did We Are Legend take us, like 4 months?
Yeah, it was super quick.
Yeah, it was almost half the time. It was almost half the time, and the book is almost twice as long. But at the same time, we weren't dealing with the same stuff. We've come out the other side of it. And on top of that, I was writing Backyard, and I was writing Maiden with T.C. Parker, and it just kind of worked out perfectly because if I didn't have something to work on with Darren or T.C., then I was working on my own stuff. And of course, it's like not God mode, but maybe easy mode or cheat mode working with another author because you only have to come up with half the content. And one of the most fun is putting the other author into idiotic situations. Like, and that's pretty much how Rex came about. Like, we just kept putting each other in these situations. Like, fucking really? How am I supposed to follow that up?
How can I fuck with him with this chapter?
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. In fact,
your way out of this, asshole.
So basically, what you're saying is this is you kind of creating like a choose your own adventure for your co-author.
Yes.
Yes.
What it is. Yeah. And in fact, in We Are Legend, I really threw Darren under the bus because I kept on writing these scenes where it would lead right up to a point where a character might die, might live. And I forced him to make the decisions both times. And I was like, do what you want, brother. Do what you want. I won't tell you what happened, but I put him in that situation.
But you work on an outline, right?
No outlines.
Oh,
God, no.
shit.
Yeah,
So it really is a
that was a
choose-your-own
great reaction.
Yeah, I mean, for two authors to completely pants their way through an entire book-length work is.
Yeah. I'm
done
currently
it twice so
co-writing a
far.
story with my friend, and we're like, and I knew, like, I need an outline. If I pants this through, it's going to be all over the place.
It was all
Was
over
there-
the place. That was fun of it.
Was there any structure
You
at
read
all?
Rex?
Like, you guys have the beginning, say, okay, well, we've got this midpoint to reach. Anything like that?
No, not really.
No.
Okay.
We knew in the middle when we had the POV shift, we knew we wanted to do some flashbacks. Like, we talked about that ahead of time, but we didn't plan anything out. And then I ended up writing all of those, I believe, because he didn't want to write them.
I'm so done with flashbacks, guys. It's like I've written so many books with flashbacks, and I'm just like, I want to challenge. Not that they're bad in general, but I want to challenge myself a little bit more, trying to show things in as it's happening, character development and all that stuff. But there were certain plot points that absolutely had to be done as flashbacks, because if we didn't, the book would have had a boring opening. Both books so far would have had a boring opening. Sometimes you just got to go back to them. And I'm like, you know what? You've been handling this shit so far, even though I think I did one flashback in We Are Legend, but
I don't think you did. I think I did all those too.
About the one in the basement. Didn't I write that? I don't want to talk too much about it, but really?
Maybe.
I
don't think so.
With like the baseball coming through the window or something? Going back, setting up the... Anyways, it didn't matter. But
we're seeing the cracks in this relationship form.
No, definitely not. I know you did all the ones with Katie.
Yeah,
I think
for sure.
Wilma, but I think I did most of Widget's stuff.
Yes,
I can't remember. Dude, anyways, but we don't want to talk about that one. The one thing I will say is the original ending. Now that you guys have read Rex, I don't feel that this is a spoiler because it didn't happen. The original ending of Rex was supposed to be Dot losing the shoes and Tutu killing her. It was supposed to be a very lorn end.
That would have been a very lorn ending.
That was the only thing we knew that we were writing to when we started, and then we didn't end up there.
Right. Well, we knew about the battle, but we didn't know how it was going to go. We were rushing forward, trying to get to that final battle, and that's pretty much the only. I think that's the only spoiler. It's not even really a spoiler, but like spoiler I want to talk about, because there's so much to that book, and I know people are gonna just automatically read the title and be like, there's no way this can be good. And then there's going to be other people who are going to be like, I got to find out, I have to find out whether or not this is worth its shit or not. I'm super, super fucking proud of the book. For it to be a first outing with an absolute stranger, at the time. Now me and Darren are like, we're not like, we're brothers. We talk every single day. We're there for each other when shit, goes down. Darren has been super fucking kind to me, saved my ass a couple months ago. And it's just, I say stranger, but to back that up with, that was only when we first started, because it was right off the bat that we figured out that we were pretty much of the same mind. Even though, all the time he'll message me and be like, I hated this book you love. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm moving on.
Well, I'm glad to know about that original ending, because
me too.
I think this book, your voices merged incredibly well. But when I got to that end, and after, light spoiler, there is a bit of a bloodbath with that final battle. I was like, okay, that's got to be E. And then I got to the ending. I'm like, okay, Darren wrote the happy ending, because I don't think E has ever written a happy ending in his life. So,
well, okay. Here's the thing: the very last chapter is Darren's, but it was up to me the scene before that.
Okay.
Man, I don't know.
I think that was one of those times where you left me with that decision, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yes, I did, but it was like the decision. Man, this is hard to talk about without spoilers. It was the decision on where to go with it after the final showdown. But we knew that the characters that survived at the end of my chapter.
Okay.
So I guess that's the best way. So the very, very final showdown, because I wrote the second to last chapter and Darren wrote the last chapter.
So E showed mercy.
I never thought I'd see the day.
He showed restraint.
This has put a dark taint on all of your work.
No, that's why I'm using the pin name. Third low. I can't have
not an Edward Thorne book, so
yeah. That's another thing. People need to be prepared because this isn't horror. This is more of a fantasy, sci-fi, action adventure kind of deal. It's very most of the book is lighthearted. Even though there's deaths, there's some horror scenes, like with the dinosaur I can't name, like Cratiosaurus or whatever the fuck it is. That's my favorite part of the book. It still is. But there's some definite, darker sections. But I mean, it's meant to be fun. And I think we accomplished that above all. I think the book is just a blast to read.
I'd agree. 100%. It's really fun to read.
Thank you.
For those who are familiar with the Edward Lorne books, there is definitely some of that very familiar Edward Lorne humor throughout the book, but it is definitely much more whimsical and fantastical than your usual fare.
I'm wondering, like I said, I don't want to get into spoilers, but I'm wondering which parts you're referring to, because one of the things that I held back a lot. And Darren wrote a lot of stuff that made me laugh, and a lot of stuff where I was like, "How very Lorne of you." Okay. So, yeah, it went the same way with TC and I when we wrote Maiden. Everybody's blaming me for all of the most upsetting scenes and everything, and they're treating TC like she's this prim lady or something, and this is her own words. Like, I'm not some prim lady. I don't know why. I don't know why they don't expect this from me, and I'm like, probably because they have respect for you.
Well, you've apparently picked your co-authors exceedingly well. If they. No one knows where you begin and the other one ends, and it all mashes up really well.
And We Are Legend, there's, I think he sort of mentioned it. There's 2 scenes in that most people will think that he wrote, and he absolutely didn't.
Yeah. Yep. In fact, the two most upsetting deaths in the entire were not my fault. Once again.
Yeah, it was all me.
It was all him, and I gave him the option. And when he picked, I was like, "How very Lorne of you!" I just kept saying that to both of them. When I was working with TC and Darren, I was like, "That's very Lorne." That's very Lorne.
Without getting too deep into spoilers, in that final battle, there is a fucking Karate Kid reference to one of the dinosaurs that had me fucking dying, where they're like, "Sweep the leg!" Like.
That was Darren.
There were so many good, funny moments in there. I just loved it.
Thank you.
And her wishing that the meth heads had died more horribly than.
That was me.
That one I figured was you. That one seemed very
I think so.
That was me. I wrote that. I wrote the intro chapter, and I had so much fun with that because I'm like, I don't know how the hell I'm gonna get her to Oz, and I guess we can talk about. I mean, the dumpster. The dumpster's the very first chapter. So, but that's as far as I want to go. But yeah, I had no idea where I was going with it, and I knew I had to tie in something with the tornado or something along those lines. And I was like, well, this is the funny part. I'm sitting there going, well, it's not very realistic that a person is going to survive a tornado not being in a house, you know. And I was like, okay, well, I need to put them in some kind of shelter, and and it just happened to be the dumpster in the back alley by the grease trap. Like, it was that. Again, it was just so much fun writing the scenes and then, you know, throwing Darren under the bus and be like, now you figure out where the fuck to go.
Yeah. That chapter came to me with absolutely no information. There was no talk of how she was getting there, and there was nothing in there saying this is what's happening. I discovered it the same way you did.
Yep.
Well, there is something a bit more unseemly of being smashed to death by a dumpster when you're the Wicked Witch.
Right? Oh, God. Yeah. And the funny part is I had no...
It definitely sets the tone.
Yes.
Yeah, it does. It does. 100%. I had no idea when he started introducing characters, like the very first characters that Dot meets when she gets to before they get to Homo Sapien Park. You know, the very first ones, I was like, what the hell? Who are these people? And I was very interested to flesh them out. And then one of them became a POV character at some point. I was like, okay, it was a journey of discovery, and everything I've worked on with him since has been that. And I think it will help the joy of discovery for people reading these books when they come across them, to, you know, that we have no idea where the fuck we're going. So, so when they finally get there, they're going to be, if they're surprised, they're going to be just as surprised as we are. So we were when we went through it.
It hangs together really well, despite riffing on each other and not knowing where it was all headed. I'm just completely flabbergasted by how well this came together, knowing now.
Hey, you're not the only one. In fact, we said it multiple times. Like, I can't believe how good this is. We went in completely blind, not knowing each other, and we it's just one scene after another. I mean, the book never lets up. There's always something going on, and that impressed me. And I wrote half the motherfucker. So but I think the reason why it's like that, and why, you know, We Are Legend is like that, is because, you know, we kept challenging each other. It's like, I'm gonna put you in the worst possible scenario, and then see how you can manage. And Darren many times is like, I'm sure I didn't go where you thought I was going to go, so fuck you, here's the chapter. And it just worked. I think with the only major rewrites we've had to do as far as plot happened in We Are Legend, and it's really only in the first chapter that we had to change something. And that one, I've been looking at this damn document every day. It's like, what is it? It's almost 80,000 words, isn't it, Darren?
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Yeah, it's like 78,000, something like that. I can't remember.
And is that one
Definitely
finished?
Significantly longer than Rex.
Oh yeah, we're in the editing process
written.
now. And it might lengthen, it might get a little bit shorter, but I'm halfway. And I just haven't been changing a whole hell of a lot. To give you a brief overview of how Rex went, I added probably, 8,000 words to it. I think we were at, and I can't remember, we were at like 38, and I brought it up to 45 with the rewrite. Yeah. And then Darren went over it. Whereas I did the exact opposite with PC for Maiden. PC did all of the blending. So, but I need to stress this. Darren, the growth that I saw from Darren, from Rex to We Are Legend, was insane. It was like a completely different writer. The dude just keeps getting better and better and better. Every time he sends me something, I find something else to be impressed over. So I am super excited for his solo stuff too, because it's like I said, he's just gotten better. the growth just between those two books was insane. Going back and editing We Are Legend, I'm like, do I just like this book too much and don't want to cut or change anything? Or did he really do that fucking amazing of a job? And I think he did, but I have the conundrum of, trying to kill darlings. And it's just not going very well. It's not going very fast because I love everything that he wrote. And the only thing I really did in Rex was I went back and added more detail. In this one, I haven't added much of anything. I've cut some stuff, but that's only because, it affected the plot, and we changed, I changed certain rules later on. I changed certain rules later on in the book to make us the ending work, and make it work the way I wanted it to. I should say.
Yeah, after the fact, after he wrote it, we said, he goes, "What are the rules again?" So I told him, well, that's not going to work.
Yeah, because we made up our own version of the Gremlins rules so that we don't get sued out of our asses.
Good idea.
Instead of Gizmo, our little creature's named Widget.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah. So I changed. We changed some stuff, but there's enough nods, like all the stuff that Darren did. He's got some Easter eggs in Rex that I didn't even catch. He had to tell me about them. Like there's some references to X-Men. There's numerous things that some of them I caught, some of them I didn't. Newt was probably my favorite reference.
Yes.
Yeah, that was very cool. I like that aspect, and that's one of the reasons why I didn't want to talk about spoilers. Because there's so much to unearth here. Even though it's relatively it's a longer novella, but there's so much treasure in there, especially from Darren's side. The pop culture references, and I use pop culture references too, but I think Darren's a little better at it. Maybe he might be a little too vague, a little too obtuse sometimes, but I think that works.
Probably.
Yeah, but I think it works because, some people are going to come across it and some people aren't. And but a good Easter egg doesn't affect the story whatsoever. And I think Darren's really good at that.
That's what separates this from Ernest Cline book.
Oh, God.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Like, I
there's also
our
nowhere
names
near the quantity of them in our book.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I just hope that our names are never,
which is really good.
I really toyed with in my tweet. I gave you guys a little blurb, and just to kind of tweak you, I was thinking about putting a Ready Player One reference in there, and ultimately
You should have.
I'm just hoping that we don't get, and even if they do, even if anybody does, I mean, that's their opinion, but I think I don't. I'm trying to be nice here, but
I just know your passion for Ready Player One and the works.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, it's Armada. I didn't finish Ready Player One, but it was Armada that put me off entirely.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was like reading them side by side because Crown sent me Armada, a review copy of that. So I stopped reading Ready Player One, and I unfortunately finished Armada. And I'm reading that, and I'm like, if this dude took out even half of these pop culture references, there would be no story, none whatsoever. That's all it is. It is Funko Pop book.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
But I just hope that Darren and I's name, my name, that I just hope that they're never put anywhere near that category. And I know I'm open. I know I'm opening myself up to like troll reviews, but watch. There's going to be some that's like, oh, this is just like an Ernest Cline book, and I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm just gonna walk away now.
I mean, there wasn't a reference on every sentence like an Ernest Cline book has, but
yeah. No, it popped in there. I was like, should I fuck with them or should I be kind?
Well, I'm glad, Mike, because I want to keep considering you a friend, asshole.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned the name of the park in its longer form earlier. Homo sapien Park is where they arrive once she lands in this version of Oz. Who the fuck came up with that?
I did.
Yeah, that was all.
Yeah. I thought it was. I thought, and the whole purpose for calling it the shorter version was to show what type of place she was heading. To show the male-led society, to show the almost frat boy culture, maybe not frat boy, military culture. It was to show. It was to state up front that the people that she's going to be around might not be the best people or might not be the most accepting. And I thought, nailing it. But also, I believe there's a line as soon as she reads the shortened version on the door, where it's like, "Fucking really, this isn't funny." So you put that you put that up front, and it's like, okay, so the characters you want to trust and care about, they're not down with this shit, but there are going to be people here that are down with that shit. So
I love the way that was handled. The way Dot responds to it is fucking perfect, because when I hit that line, I was like, oh my guys, really? And then the next line, I was like, oh, thank God, this is redeemed.
Yeah. And I try to do that a lot. And sometimes too much, I don't want to be preachy, but I want to make it very clear to the reader that, they're not reading like a Trumpian novel, I don't know that culture, that's not what we're here for.
Yeah.
But shit like that exists, so you make note of those things, you warn the reader up front that, and it's subtle. Hopefully it's subtle, foreshadowing, you're like, okay, like I said, this is the environment they're going into. And then she meets those people, and it's like, okay, well, yeah, we're here for it. Now let's see what what the breadth of their character really is. And by the end, of course, we find out.
I really enjoyed the way you wrote her mentality throughout it. I kept, like Michael said, there were a couple of scenes there where I was like, God fucking damn it, at the male scenes. And then seeing Dot's respond, I'm like, yes, thank you.
Darren wrote a lot of that too. But I was just talking about, the Homo sapien part, the shorter version of it, because I don't even like the word. I mean, I wrote it, but I don't even like the word. But there was a lot of stuff that Darren did with the characters, with their reactions to certain things. And in fact, the relationship in the book was all Darren also. I want to bring that. I think it was mutually agreed upon that we were going to go that far, but that was Darren's side of things. Darren came up with that, especially with the flashback where we find out more about the one character. But Darren 100% needs credit for a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, we had no idea, honestly, going in about the relationship stuff that you're talking about. Like, that wasn't planned at all. None of it. It just sort of made sense it made sense as we were doing it. And that was one thing too that we were really. I was gonna say that's one of the things that we talked about a lot, and actually had some sensitivity readers, because we were really concerned about a couple of straight white guys writing two female character POVs, and being as far different from us as they are. So,
I really appreciate the fact that you actually got sensitivity readers, and they are so important. They are.
Yeah, I like to refer to them as content editors, because it's and this might sound bad, but just bear with me. It's not about sensitivity. It's about getting things right. It's about getting the facts right. Because I have no problem offending anyone, but if I'm wrong and I offend someone, that's not cool. But if I get something right and I offend someone, I'm completely fine with that. So, most everybody here, I don't know if LeMay has read any of my work, but most of my work is uber offensive. like to the point where most people are like, are you sure that this dude isn't some terrible human being? So
I can vouch for that.
Right. Like South of Here, that book reads like it was written by, the most vile alt-right motherfucker on the planet. Other than one like hinted at relationship in there, it's a very offensive book. But I like to write things that are going to evoke emotion, whether it be hatred, love, any of those things. I want it to affect someone. I don't want the worst reviews for me, not that they're bad reviews, but the worst reviews I can get are the ones that are like, meh, it's okay. I have no feelings whatsoever. That shit actually bothers me. I like to say that, that reviews don't affect me whatsoever, but honestly, those are the ones that get under my skin. Like if someone comes out with a 1-star rage review talking about, I wish I could give it -47. I'm like, fuck yeah. It pissed you off that bad. I love it. Give me all the rage. I feel the same way about rage reviews as I do, 5-star glowing, wish they could give it 16 stars reviews. I love both of them equally. It's when I have no effect on someone whatsoever that I'm like, well, fuck, I fucked up. Anyways.
I mean, I can totally get that. You always want to evoke something in your readers and something that you're writing.
Definitely, 100%. I want people. That's why I do what I do. I don't want to go the whole artistic thing, like, I'm not in it for the money. Of course I'm in it for the money. But I'm also in it to affect people. And I want people to feel something. And if it's hatred, I love it. I don't mind it whatsoever. But going back to, sensitivity readers, content editors, whatever you want to call them, it's about getting the information right. If I am saying something about a marginalized people that is not correct, it has nothing to, I firmly believe it has nothing to do with sensitivity. It is 100% about accuracy. If this does not happen, then it should not be in there. If we stepped on toes unintentionally, it does not need to be in there. And that's anyways, but that's how I feel. I didn't mean to go on a rant about I don't like sensitivity readers. I prefer content editors, but it's also important. I think I don't know. I think there's calling things sensitivity readers. It's kind of like abolish the police. While what you actually want to do is you take the money that you're throwing into the police and you put it into mental health specialists, things like that. But when a conservative, alt-right, whatever you want to call them, when they hear something like abolish the police, they automatically think of chaos and anarchy. When you say something like, sensitivity readers, it's like, okay, well, what are they not trying to offend anyone? And I don't know. I think
it's because, the wrong people have, made a bad name for that specific word. You know what I mean?
True. Yeah, that's exactly it. That just like SJW is.
Yeah, it's like people say I'm a feminist, and you suddenly your automatic thought is like, oh, she's like a really horrible person who wants to kill all men or something like that. When it's like,
right, that's exactly
quality, but okay.
Yeah, they tend to conflate it.
Also, I want to say, sorry.
Go on, E.
Okay. Also, I want to say I have no problem with Darren or anyone else call it a sensitivity reader. I have no problem with that whatsoever. I choose to call them content editors because, again, I think it's more about accuracy for me anyways. It's about getting things right because when you're wrong, you're wrong. It's if it's an objective wrongness, if it's objectively wrong, then it needs to be changed. It's just good storytelling to make sure that you get your facts right.
You're here. Well, I think you got the story right. If we can go back just for 1 minute about the writing process where you guys kind of traded on and off, was it always a chapter by chapter basis, or did you guys ever fuck with each other and like, I'm going to stop in the middle of a sentence and send it back to him? And
I don't think
No.
yeah, we always finished our chapters.
Okay.
But we never 100% said, like, it wasn't like only I could write Dot or only he could write, let's just go Victoria. It wasn't like anything like that. We always sent completed chapters back and forth. Sometimes it was more than just one chapter. It all depended on, how busy we were, how far we wanted to go with it, how badly we wanted to throw the other person under the bus, that kind of thing. And every single chapter, I think, is a cliffhanger because of that. You don't know what's going to happen next because we didn't fucking know. And we were trying to challenge the next person. But no, I don't think, I'm pretty sure, I know I did it with TC, but I don't think I ever, actually she did it to me, but I don't think there was ever a chapter in either book so far that we just left in like mid-sentence or mid-paragraph. I think we always, and Darren can, correct or agree, but I think we always finished our chapters.
Yeah, for Rex, we actually were more uniform. So we did 1 and 1 through the whole thing. With We Are Legend, we kind of threw that out and said, write as much as you want. If you're feeling where the story is going and want to keep it going. And we did that a couple times. We both wrote a few chapters before we sent it back. But yeah, I think with Rex, it was one back and forth, one chapter each. But yeah, nothing was unfinished.
I believe you're right. And then the main reason why we changed it up is with We Are Legend is because with that one we had a like Stephen King size cast. It is a lot of people, and I'm super proud that they all have their own voice. That's one of the things that I'm most proud of with that one. And with this one, we only have the 2 POVs, right?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. I think it was just Dot and Victoria.
So it made more sense with this one, just to stick to, chapter by chapter. But in the other one, sometimes we wanted to carry over a scene, going from, and as much as I love throwing Darren under the bus, I keep saying that over and over, putting him in sticky situations. Sometimes I wouldn't be able to finish a thought from one character, so I'd have to move on to another one. So it just kind of happened naturally, and I'm sure everything we write from here on out will just happen naturally. One thing is Darren started We Are Legend. I started Rex, and I think it'll continue back and forth like that. Let's see here. Darren has finished both books. Now that I think about it.
I think I wrote the end of both. Yeah. Yeah,
he wrote the end, the epilogues, if you want to call them that. He wrote the last chapters of both. And it just kind of, like I said, it just kind of happened. And it's funny because it's like we have less to talk about, how we did it, because we just fucking did it, there's not really any process as much as it was, okay, let's challenge each other. And as long as we keep doing that, I think we're going to have a very, very long career together.
Awesome.
I'm looking forward to all the extra collaborations you got.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
So am I.
Especially the Great and Secret Bake Off.
Yeah. that one's going to be batshit crazy. I know it is. Especially coming off the ass end of Hella Mean, because we have such popularity to show you.
Amazing.
Oh man, I can't wait for those. Are you releasing them under Hold Your Beer and Watch This, right?
Yeah, Hold My Beer Publishing is the name of the conglomerate we have now. We have all of my Ward Nerdlo books will be under that. If I ever publish another Lorne book, it'll go back under Lorne Graphic Material. But all of my Nerdlo books, all of my Roland books, anything I do with TC and Darren, I'm not sure, but I think TC is going to be releasing her stuff under, like her solo stuff, under her own like solo deal. So I don't know I haven't talked much with Darren about this, whether or not he I'm hoping he gets the publishers that he's, been shooting for. But yeah, that's the plan from here on out, is to release all this utter insanity under the Hold My Beer. Anything that fits that moniker, man. Anything.
Now, Darren, this is your first official release.
Yes.
What is coming under solo projects from you? You got anything under wraps that are ready to come out soon or in the future?
So I actually wrote my first solo novel at the same time as we were writing Rex. I literally would just kind of like Kenny said, I'd work on my chapter for Rex, send it back, and then while he was working on that, I'd work on my solo book, which is amazing that I was able to do it at the same time as fast as he is. But so that one is done, and it is out for consideration currently. So we'll see what happens.
Well, good luck, man.
I'll keep my fingers crossed for you.
Yeah, I've actually already started working on the follow-up to that. I don't know if I want to call it a sequel, but it's a second book in the same world sort of thing.
That's exciting, though. Does it feel good to finally have something out in the world like this?
Yeah, I mean it's been a long road for me. Yeah, it's been a long time. So I actually wrote a book, I think back in 2013. It was a sci-fi book, which is what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a sci-fi writer because I love sci-fi, but I've always hated everything I've written for sci-fi. So I wrote this novel, and it was a finalist in a publishing company here in St. Louis that they do contests every year, and it was a finalist in that. And I actually apparently lost out because it came, or they got it at the same time as the Prison Break in Space movie that came out with Guy Pearce. I can't remember what the name of the.
Oh, I remember that one.
No idea what it was called.
So my book had nothing to do with that. But it did have a prison in space. So they connected the two and said, well, that movie was terrible, so we're going to pass. I'm like, well, it had nothing to do. It was nothing like it.
And there's been other prison in space movies. There's been Fortress. There's that Abomination that was, what was it? Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Those two were in one, I thought. But there's Alien 3 is there's a lot of movies like that. Yeah. I don't know why it would be like, oh, there's a prison in space. Oh no, can this motherfucker.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, so they passed, and
St. Louis is drawing a line.
Yeah, they're definitely drawing a line. At that point, I wrote a short, a horror, and I hate writing shorts. I should make that clear up front. I suck at short stories. Everything I write ends up turning into a novel. But I did write a short story, a horror story, and my buddy Kevin had read it, and he was like, "Dude, you should be writing horror. Like this you've got." I was like, "All right." So then I decided, to jump in, and that's when Children of the Dreamer was born, which is the book, the solo book.
I'm excited to read it when it's ready.
Yeah, me too.
Once it's out there.
We'll keep you guys appraised of the situation.
And I might have missed it. When's Wicked Rex coming out?
We're shooting for like the second week of December. We're waiting on a proofread right now. Once the proofread is done, I think Darren's going to go over it one more time. And then I have to put all the blurbs and the after material. I got to put all that stuff in there. And then I'm going to be sending it to Todd Kiesling, and he's going to be doing the formatting. And then as soon as that's done, I will put it up, and when it's ready, it'll be ready. But it'll be before Christmas.
So it'll be just in time for this episode then.
We're hoping.
Yeah,
pretty close. Well, this episode
that's one of the
should be
reasons why I didn't want to talk about spoilers, because I wasn't sure, and I'm still not sure if the book will be ready by the time the episode's out. So I want to make sure that we don't spoil anything, for anybody. No pertinent plot points.
I mean, considering this podcast, we've actually been pretty low on spoilers.
Yeah. This is a first for the Abyss. We're usually when we do our story of the week, it is all spoilers. And I think this is the first time we have not done a spoiler talk. It feels weird.
I think I knew about that. I think because I've listened to a couple episodes. And I think, but it's been a while because I have absolutely no free time. And no offense to you guys, I promise. And I also don't listen to too many podcasts, period. But yours is one of the ones that, when I get a moment, I listen to. I think that's why I mentioned to Darren that I didn't want to do any spoilers. Now, if you want to hit me up on Twitter, I have no problem answering any questions. I probably won't talk about spoilers. Well, I'm not going to talk about spoilers publicly, but if anybody watches this, has read the book and wants to, holler at me, even if you hated it, I especially like talking to people who hate my stuff. So maybe leave Darren out of the conversation, but yeah, definitely hit me up and go, your book was garbage. And I'll be like, yes, I am trash. Tell me more.
Eat me.
Well, E, where can our listeners hit you up?
I have a YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/Edward Lorne. I review books. I have a series called Thursday Theorist where I connect all of Stephen King's work. I'm currently reviewing all of Stephen King's back catalog. Also, you can search me or Ward Nerdlow, either author. You can search me up on Amazon. My books are up there. Pretty much Amazon exclusive under those two names. Other than that, you can find me at Edward Lorne, Lorn, on Twitter. And that's me also on Instagram. I'm Edward Lorne everywhere. So that's me. That's everywhere you can find me. And I hope everybody enjoys The Wicked Rex of the West.
All right. And Darren, what about you?
Well, my resume is a lot shorter. You can find me on Twitter at Darren DARONK77, and that's pretty much it right now.
I knew he was going to say that. I knew he was going to be like, I just have this over here. That's me. That's all.
But that's only for now.
It's only for now. Yes, because he's about to do big things.
Yes.
I also want to let our audience know that we'll be going on a short break after this episode.
It's our last episode of 2021.
I hope our audience has a very nice Christmas.
Oh, fucking fun.
And a Happy New Year. And we'll meet again in 2022.
Oh, this break. I can't wait.
Honestly, we've been going nonstop since like 2019.
Yeah, you guys are killing it. I will say that. And that's one of the reasons why I can't keep up with podcasts, because I don't know how the fuck y'all do this.
We can't keep up either.
I know this. I know this is completely different, but I've been doing daily videos on my channel for about 7 weeks now. More than 7 weeks. But I don't know how the hell anyone actually keeps a schedule. Period. I'm not even talking about weekly, monthly, daily, whatever. I don't know how anyone keeps a schedule, because it's been driving me absolutely fucking bonkers.
Just you talking about that schedule, I got like that. When you're in the elevator and it drops suddenly, you get that lurch in your organs.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Deeply unsettling.
Yeah, it's intimidating, man. Imagine, you are. That's why your stomach dropped. But imagine me, man. Not having to, but people are enjoying it, and I'm all about giving the people what they want. So.
Well, we've been doing this for pretty much 3 years nonstop. This is the first time we're taking like a little hiatus for the holidays. So
yeah,
that's amazing. All three. It's amazing. Good job. Applause.
You earned it.
Yeah,
you definitely did.
Vit LeMay, where can our listeners get in touch with you?
I'm on Twitter at Vit LeMay, capital S. And then I like doing silly writing-related videos on TikTok at Vit LeMay Mist. And you can also find me and my books on my website at vitlemay.mistauthor.com.
Perfect. And Mike?
You can find me on Twitter at MikeH5856. And you can find my books on Amazon if you search for Michael Patrick Hicks.
And you can find me on Twitter at Rudy53088, and be sure to go and give Abyss a follow at well with @IntoStaring. And this is Richard Gerlach saying, keep on staring.
See you in 2022.
Aw, yeah.